you already have a first customer here in the drawing.
Yes. It's been standing in line for a while.
What? Silently waiting for you.
Say we have to put a name on it, your
Need
name
a
on it.
little bit of blanket or something.
All right, 7 o'clock. Welcome everybody to the planning board meeting for June 13th, 2023. Will, would you like to lead us in the pledge of allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mix it up tonight. Mix it up a little bit.
Yeah, they keep us on our toes.
Roll.
Peter Pinelli,
Here.
Lou Musella,
Here.
Gene Miller,
Here.
Mike Mersan,
Here.
Rob Pfister.
Here. You guys had a chance to look at the minutes from our previous
Yes.
meeting?
Yes. Make a motion to accept the minutes.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, 146 East Main Street.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. So, hopefully you've all had a chance to review what was submitted with this last submission. And I will also introduce, you may or may not know, Anthony Danza here. He's an engineer and he's probably going to be working as the owner's liaison to the project. And he also has some inside knowledge, because he's also Diana's son and Sam and Maria's grandson. And then we have Pete Monteleone, who'll be working on the building itself. So, anyway.
Pleasure to meet you guys.
Likewise. Happy on board.
Maybe I can just go through the letter that was submitted with this and just kind of pick up the high points here of what we're doing. And I think as you can see from, this is a board that shows the approved design that was done by the planning board. And then this is what we're proposing now, and they're pretty close. So it's been a long back and forth, but I think hopefully we're getting there. So as per my letter of May 30th to the board, the existing brick on the building that is currently exposed will have stone finish or trim finish where it's called for on the approved plan. So there's kind of more brick showing now than what's supposed to be even stone. So that will be trim or stone finish, including the chimney on that. And again, on the front elevation, on the southerly elevation here on the Route 22 side, it's mostly trim detail, so that will occur on there. We do have on the northern side of the building, there are the stairs that go down into the basement with that roof structure that's over there that has the mechanical equipment that's exposed now, but that will remain. There will be railing that goes around that that'll shield the HVAC equipment, and we're proposing actually on that one element there to do a stucco finish that's in the color of the stone. So it won't be very obvious, but we're kind of pinched there with the sidewalks. We really don't want to come into that anymore with the stone. So that one element would be a gray that would be the same tone as the stone selected. Let's see. The existing restaurant sign shall be removed. That's there now. And I don't know if you got this or not. It's best. So.
Yeah, they can just make it out on this one.
Yeah, on the rendering, but this is a little more. Thank you.
Thanks.
So the one on the left is actually the sign that was approved as part of the planning board process, and the one on the right is basically the same sign, but we're putting a stone base on that that'll tie it into the building and also kind of relate to the Pawling sign that's on the south side of the intersection. The windows will all have their muntins and shutters as per the approved plans. Okay, the brick half walls that are around the dining areas on the west side of the building. So we're proposing actually to remove the brick walls on both of those elevations. On the first main level here, we'll add a decorative column next to the structural column that's there existing, and then in between that we'll do panels that are kind of just captured by those columns. They'll be open underneath. There'll be a panel detail that'll run around the lower level here. It'll have an exposed area, less than 6 inches underneath that to get the snow out of there and stuff. And then on the second floor, we're going to put the railing that was for the approved plan. Let's see. The big one, the existing terracotta roof will be removed and replaced with an asphaltic shingle that was approved by the planning board, something like this. Here in a charcoal black color, so that will happen there. The cedar pergola that sits on top of this southerly element now will be removed and actually put inside that entablature, which is where it was supposed to be. The fieldstone veneer that's on the second floor here, and the travertine that's here will be removed and put siding here like it was supposed to be here. And then this stone actually will come around that corner here and return to the building. We did add, there was a window that was added here on the, below this bay here, and it adds light into the kitchen, which actually, I think actually is a nice change. So there's no change or revision to that being proposed. The gable detail at this elevation here currently does not match this one, but it will match that one with the same trim detail. Columns and their stone bases will be installed on the main entry side, which is here. all the existing doors right now, they just have the ones that are in the stone right now, the ones that are solid here, in the kitchen, which is around here, and then on the, right here, those will actually be painted to match the stone color. So those will kind of fade away into the wall. The sidewalk on the south side of the chimney here that connects the dining area to here, we're actually proposing to remove that. And we do think that a generator is necessary on this site, because there's gonna be a lot of refrigerated items here, and we wanna keep that. So we're proposing to actually drop that in elevation a little bit at the existing chimney. It'll probably be about this tall or so, and drop that and put that in this location aligned with the chimney. And then further discussion with the makeup air and the exhaust for the kitchen equipment. Basically, we need more space than's available on the roof that's here. So we still may put some element here below the railing, but we do need another area, which we carve out basically in the roof behind these two gables, a little area that we could put some rooftop units in, which are currently rooftop units that's pretty much filled in that flat area that's there existing. So there'd be white railing that would come across there, and then those would sit in there, and I don't think you'd ever see it because it's way up tucked in between those two gables.
Right.
And then I think the last thing is, we've talked about the one parking space proposed to be removed, which is here where the pole and the panel are as you come into the site. So we'd lose one parking space there. And I think that basically covers what we're talking about.
I have to say, you did a fine job of making this building look like it was originally approved.
It's been a group effort, and we're all trying.
I'll start with you, Karen, actually. Do you have any comments on,
Thank you for the thorough presentation.
I have a couple questions. Kurt, you said that there's going to be some trim or stone. I couldn't see where you were pointing.
So originally called for, this is brick right now, and
Okay.
around all these windows is
Yeah.
brick, and this is all brick.
Mhm.
That's gonna be removed, and there's gonna be trim.
Trim?
Yeah, so you're not
Okay.
gonna see stone there, nor brick.
And you were saying about the ventilation. That's going to be in between the two peaks,
Yeah,
correct?
just where those two, in between these two here, there's a
Right.
little area there. So they'll be tucked behind that.
Right.
In alignment with that wall, there'll be a railing on top of this wall up at the roof.
And you
It'll be
won't
behind-
see the top of it? It's going to be one of those mushroom type things, or?
Well, we're gonna have probably a 3-foot rail up there, and we'll do the same detail that we're doing on, yeah, let me get the right, here.
Yeah.
So it'll be the same
Oh, I
type of
got
thing as
you.
here.
Yeah, you were pointing there. That's,
Right.
I was confused with that.
So we'll have a
You
railing.
won't see that? Perfect, okay.
Nope.
And is that going to be the same color as the roof? The railing?
We could do it the same color as the roof, or we could leave it white like the rest of the railing in the building. I mean, they'll be high, you're never gonna see it when you're driving, you'll see it when
Right.
you're just driving by, you might catch
Mhm.
the railing.
And the generator?
Yes,
I understand that you need one that's gonna be for emergency uses, I'm sure only. It's
Correct.
gonna probably go off once a week for
probably to test,
10
yes.
to 15 minutes. And it's gonna go by the chimney, so that's good for the Rendiches and the residences to the north. Is it gonna be below the railing, so you won't see it?
Yes.
Oh, will it?
And we'll actually, we take that sidewalk out of there, which isn't necessary, we can actually depress that grade a little bit and push that whole thing down.
That was gonna be my next question.
Yep.
You can drop it down a little.
Correct, I think we can probably go down 18 inches or so.
Is it gonna be the same size generator that was there previously, or is it gonna be a little smaller?
A little small.
A little smaller.
A little smaller?
Yep.
I think the one that was there before that, Lou, was for the whole building. They're putting it now, it's gonna be mainly for refrigeration.
Well, I think that's our main goal, is to keep things frozen and refrigerated,
Correct,
so we don't lose.
refrigeration, yeah.
So this is,
Any emergency lighting.
this has certainly quite a change. It's been a long time coming. And I've been pretty vocal about the changes that
Yes, you
were
have.
made to the plan, as everybody knows. So I want to take this opportunity to thank the Tomasettis and everybody to come to this conclusion, so it can be a nice presentable building for the village. I think it's certainly a move is in the right direction. I like it.
Thanks.
I like it.
Thank you for changing the roof. Now, the ones with the character of the area.
Generator's just getting fed by the rest of the propane
Correct.
side?
Mhm.
All right, everything else will be to the approved plan, right? We're still working off the approved
Yes, the
plans
approved
here.
site plan, yeah, so
Right.
all the curbing and stuff that was part of the approved plan will be following that, so we're
Alright.
gonna have to take a lot of that out.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that
Yes.
that's understood.
Correct.
No, we have gotten to this point where we have rescinded seeker at this point. So, Dave, do you want to kind of fill us
Yeah,
in
we're
on
just
where we
gonna-
are
I
with
mean,
that?
if you, since this is in accord with the original site plan, if you decide not to move forward with the rescission, you'll just pass a motion or resolution that you find that the project as modified by the latest revisions will not result in any significant adverse environmental impacts, and that the negative declaration issued on October 13th, 2020 remains in full force and effect with respect to the project as modified, and that a positive declaration not be issued with respect to the project. So, I sent over a written resolution that's got some of the background about what happened, and then ending up with a revised site plan application. But that's the resolution if you decided to proceed with that.
You guys follow that?
Can I make a motion?
So
that,
just to make a motion.
I make a
Yeah.
motion that
Okay.
we accept the resolution.
Yeah, before we do that, I just want to briefly touch on the screening to the north side of the property.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's still wide open, and a lot of those trees were cut down on that piece of property to kind of be able to work on this project.
Right.
Is there
I think-
any, on 140, yeah, on 140.
Yeah,
on
I
that
think we
piece
have a
of
row of
property.
trees proposed on the approved site plan that's gonna go along that.
Is there, I just
I-
kind of wanted to confirm with you guys that
Yeah.
you will address that moving forward?
Actually, what we can do, I think we can, it doesn't show, because I think we had a problem with the ownership of those two, but since this is a similar owner on the north, that we can put a row of trees here that will give us screening on the north side of that.
What are the proposed, what were the original
The
proposed?
landscape plans?
On the landscape plan, there are actually no plantings on the northern side of that.
Yeah, because it's not, there's no
It's
room,
right up
it's right
to
up to the
the-
property line, so
Correct,
there's no room
but we
for
can,
it.
we can put a row of evergreens along that parking area there,
On 140.
on 140, yes.
Because that'll make a noise barrier toward the home.
Correct, and the lights
Also
and the
shield
cars.
light.
Right.
Is there a specific code, spacing, type of tree?
I think we would probably use an arborvitae or something like that that's kind of fairly dense and probably gets, probably 5-6 feet tall.
And how far apart would you plant them to make a good,
Probably like 4 or 5 feet apart, just so they grow into each other and make it.
I just want to make sure they go into each other.
Yeah, just so we don't have these sparse little
8 feet
things.
apart, hey,
I'm sorry.
You're saying 8 feet apart?
8 feet
Oh,
apart.
okay.
Four.
Put them less than 8, they're gonna be dead in no time.
Yeah, we just want, basically when they're mature, we want them to kind
Right,
of mesh
right,
together.
Right.
What was on the approved plan for the east side, out by the road?
Yeah, those would be replaced, because those are supposed to be evergreens, those are forsythia now, I think. And I believe we had out there, we had Hetzi junipers, so those were evergreens that were supposed to be out on that side, so those forsythia will come out of there, and those need to be replaced with an evergreen.
Would which I agree with, but I'm a little concerned about the slope. With Route 22, would the landscaping be sloped, so the salt wouldn't?
Well, I think we'll definitely be higher than 22, I mean,
Oh,
we'll
okay.
get spray from them, but I think
Right.
we'll just verify that those are salt tolerant. I believe that they are, but we'll just verify that they're salt tolerant, those evergreens. But the impression is to get an evergreen hedge along there to give us some protection with the lights out up to 22.
That is the east side, on the 22 side?
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
that's-
he's talking about on the 146 property.
Now, we're still gonna, I'm sorry.
No, we were just talking about the east side where it barriers 22.
Yes.
That's
Right,
what
the
they're
east
No, I
saying.
understand.
Yeah.
So 140 on the east side,
Oh, over here?
Oh, out
wasn't
there.
that, was that cleared for the generator?
I think they probably took some trees out of there, but I don't think that it was clear for
There's
the
still a
gym.
concrete pit, and it's gotta go bye-bye.
Yes.
Well, yeah, okay. So,
Okay, so you don't foresee any need for additional
At-
screening
at this
because of a
point?
hole that opened up.
Yeah, at this point, no, but we could revisit that.
Let's just consider it
Yes.
as we move forward.
Yes, we can do that.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, do we have to put that, I mean, I know it's the adjacent piece of property, it's not necessarily the same ownership completely, but how do we really,
I think
how do we
that's,
address that?
Well, they're just, I mean, they're just as a condition, they're gonna leave those trees. Maybe have an agreement with the 140 that that screening will remain.
I think they're planting.
Okay.
They're
Oh,
planting.
the planting,
Yeah.
yeah. So that would be a condition, is that okay?
Yeah, I'm
You
sure
know,
we can get like a
condition that-
cross easement or some kind of
Yeah,
written
just something
document.
so that it's permanent, you know, so
Yes.
if it changed hands, that
Correct.
wouldn't,
All right, Ed, do you have any issues or concerns?
No, I think you've discussed it. You know, these are all issues that we've been aware of and worked with Kurt and the applicant on, so I don't think there's any surprises here. The more major change of the mechanical roof on the northern end, that's been discussed. That was reviewed from a technical standpoint at the building permit level, with the caveat that they had to obtain approval of this board, but we have no concerns with any of the technical or code aspects of the proposed changes.
All right. Yeah, I think, you know, after even Robert Orr's review, he said the deviations were minor from your original drawing that you had submitted and we had approved. And I think you brought it very, very close back to, and even the tablature of those columns brought it closer to what, you know, he had said was, you know, some of the minor things that he might have wanted you to see change a little bit. So, yeah, I mean, the only other one thing, and it's just a suggestion, is there gonna be landscaping around, like where the generator is a little bit? I mean, I know it's a fence.
Yeah, we're gonna put a similar screen around it that is like around the dining area on the lower level, but any screening that we can put there, we will get in there. Cause minimal space between the stone wall of the cemetery and that, but if we can tighten everything up and get a couple evergreens in there, certainly will.
Yes, there's plenty of room.
All right, yeah.
Once we take out the sidewalk, there's plenty of room.
We'll bring that grade down too, so I'll get rid of some of the slope towards the stone wall of the cemetery.
Kurt, that thing would be hidden anyway by that outcrop of the chimney and everything too. Those generators aren't that wide, the newer ones.
Yeah, I mean, I think the essence is just to kind of get that thing, depress it as much as possible, and you've got the stone wall, so you might see this much on the approach from the south.
And you're not gonna look at it anyway, because you're coming down the road, going around, it's not gonna be walking around the building.
Correct.
And they're quiet when they run, trust me. I know, I put one in the building up in Albany.
Okay.
It was really an ideal spot, having it
That
shielded
hides
on
it.
that side.
Yeah, so,
Yeah, it hides, it's behind the chimney, so you
Just
don't
for
even
sound,
see it.
sound is shielded out there, there's no houses, it's.
You get more noise from traffic on 22
yeah.
than the generators
Exactly.
gonna put out.
The foundation planning that you have going around the perimeter of the building, that was part of the landscaping plan in the original plan?
Yes, it was.
Okay.
And I think we agreed to actually put a couple more on the East Main Street side between the road and the dining area.
You did.
So we'll add some of those.
I remember that.
Now, what is the,
You put a
What
motion
is
on the
the-
floor, you stop them.
well, yeah, I just wanted to go through some of that stuff first before we made that motion.
you
The
probably get all the
procedure.
issues- get all the issues out kind
Yeah.
of on the table about, you know, before you.
So the procedure from here for them, you know, as far as it goes, the stop work order.
That'll have to be dealt with, that's a village issue, that's not a planning board issue.
All right.
So, I mean, the issue would be whatever, I mean, there's still that fee appeal out there.
Yeah, I think all that stuff needs to just be ironed out, and
Well.
whatever those details are.
Okay, because you know, there's a process laid out in the law, the local law about how that determination is to be made. There's nothing that would preclude, you know, the applicant from reaching agreement with the planning board as that, you know, to sort of, if you wanted to try to shortcut that process, but if that's still going on and we have whatever the additional, you know, fees are for, I guess this meeting or what have you, that, you know, to get that wrapped up. I don't, where are you with the escrow, bid now in terms of,
Amount-wise,
you know?
There's a balance of 3,907.
Okay,
So,
and that's
like 31.
after paying all outstanding
No,
bills?
that's before paying outstanding bills.
And what are the outstanding bills?
The outstanding bills are. Rob, can I have
yeah.
that piece of paper?
Sorry.
The agenda.
Oh,
Please. 2,500, a little bit over 2,500 in outstanding bills.
Okay. So, I don't know.
Do we have, do you have any more to submit, you guys, like, coming up for this project, you think, from the last time they were submitted in May?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't issue a comment letter for this, so there's no new submissions related to that.
All right, and planning board wise, engineering wise, probably, for a planning board from
Yeah,
you, right?
minimal.
All right.
So it would be basically square, I guess, right? I mean, so if you withdrew the fee appeal, which, you know, that's your decision, it's just if it's not withdrawn, it just makes it a little more complicated, so.
Okay, I'll leave that to Diana.
Yeah.
But it sounds like there should be enough in the escrow currently to cover current bills.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah, from what Vivian just said, you got a little balance left.
I don't have
Not
anything
much,
left,
but a
so
little.
I'm, yeah.
Dave, we can negate that
Okay,
appeal.
Okay, that keeps things, thank you, Diana. That's
Sure.
Great.
all right, so I'm not even gonna add anything to escrow right now, because you still have a balance, I mean, $1,300 left, I mean, would like this, keep, yeah. I'd like to at least bring it up to 2,000 to have minimum there, you guys will get it back, it's only another $700, just to make sure. we have-
That's fine.
Okay.
Just send us the bill
Okay.
tomorrow, Vivian.
I will.
All right, so, good. We'll bring it up
Just
to 2,000.
It's less than 700, just
Okay.
did escrow up to
That's
2,000,
fine.
so it's not much, $630 or something. Let's try to get back to you as soon as possible, if we're done. I think that's all I really have for questions. Anybody else? Dave, any more?
Well, no, I mean, I
final comment on
don't,
this?
Karen, I don't think there's anything else to be done except the seeker, and if you did, then take a vote on it, I believe.
Right, so we're rescinding our rescission of seeker. Are we actually issuing now?
You're reestablishing the existing
Yeah.
negative
It
declaration.
was never actually finalized because it, you know, you had to get through that process, and the additional information was in the form of bringing the application in conformance with the original site plan, so there's no reason to disturb the negative declaration that was issued in October of 2020.
Right, so not reissuing a
No.
positive declaration at this point. So really, what you had proposed earlier, the way.
Yeah, that's the resolution
The
that was read
resolution.
into the record, and, you know, I've got a written copy of it that you've got, so.
All right,
yeah.
so can I get a motion to approve the resolution that Dave,
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, anyone opposed? All right, so do we need to formally approve these changes that are, like, these minor changes to the modification to the site plan?
Yes,
I
you
would-
need an approved
Yeah.
plan on file.
I'll make a motion that we approve the plan that was submitted to the site. Modified site plan.
I'll second that motion.
With the conditions.
Right, so we do already have the conditions that we had spoken about earlier, right?
Record, yep.
That hopefully we can get a letter from 140 stating that they will, you know, screen the property from 146. And
Yes.
hopefully Route 22 a little
Mhm.
bit.
Yeah, that's part of the, yes. So we'll work on with the owner of 140 to see what we can do on the plantings
All right.
on that property.
All right, thank you. All right, so I had to cut you off. It was,
No,
motion was second.
agreed.
I agree,
All right.
Agreed.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Mr. Johnson?
Let's go again?
Thomas Eddy's.
Okay.
You are approved.
All right. Thank you very much.
How soon can we go back to work? Just so there's no surprises, just so we know where we
Well,
stand.
the next thing will be to come to the building
Yeah,
department.
I need to work with Ed,
We
and
got
we need
those
to work
issues
out what
that
we
need
need to
be
get
worked
you,
out.
and get you in the
Yeah.
file.
Right, yeah, that's what I was kinda
Yeah,
trying to get at.
This is a separate, the building permit process.
Yeah, I
is
was
a
gonna say,
separate
reach out to me
process.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
We'll start the building permit process again.
Okay,
Okay.
great. Thank you all very much. I know it's been a bumpy road, but we'll get there.
That's me, man, I was the one who said that.
Thank you.
Couple of times,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
know.
a couple times, yeah.
I thought you were like a lawyer or something like that. You never know who you told me to.
Yeah, I know.
It's good seeing you again. Steve. All right, we'll see you, I'm sure we'll see you again.
Bye.
Take it easy.
Thank you.
Nice, no problem.
Thank you very much.
Good night, Pete.
Good night. Take care. Nice to meet you. If I may.
Okay,
Nice to meet you.
take care.
Alright, old business, wanted to just discuss 28 Walnut Street a little bit. We are sending the Senos a letter that does clarify a little bit better what the infill house requirements are and the urban regulations for their application. That's kind of where we stand with them right now. That's one of the big questions they had. Is it, they provided with that information? Is there anything else? Any of these bullet points we should discuss?
We're gonna send them a letter for what, Rob? I didn't hear you.
So, major subdivisions, they do fall under the urban regulations. So the infill house is the part of the urban regulations that they need to follow. So you've seen what the urban regulations, like drawings look like, and
Yes.
sometimes they're a little hard to read.
The project is a major subdivision because it requires a new hookup to water and sewer. In your code, that's what is a major subdivision, among other things. And so, according to the land designation map in the comprehensive plan, this site requires new development under the urban regs to be of a type 3 infill house design. So we told the applicant, as part of my planning review previously, that it was subject to the urban regulations and that they should demonstrate compliance. They found the diagram to be illegible, so we are providing to them a more legible copy or just, clarified numbers so that they may take that and demonstrate compliance. At this time, we're not foreseeing any major issues with it, but we just need to know what additional, if any, variances they would need. And to have a site plan that we can circulate as part of seeker that is up to date with bulk and dimensional requirements.
Understand it. They are difficult to interpret, that's for sure.
Yeah, they didn't have the best
That's right.
printers back then.
So, at this point, they still need to find, or they still need to provide their no effect letter from SHPO. They're also going in for a DEC wetland permit, and so I think we just wanted to see that they had the wetlands flagged on site by the DEC rep, which they may have already. I can't quite remember.
I thought you said something came out pretty quickly on that one.
Yeah, and just to provide us the correspondence. We'll need to schedule a public hearing, and I think that's about it. I mean, we're essentially waiting for them to resubmit with their demonstration of how they comply amongst other questions that we had.
Yeah, you had the bog turtles in there too, when I was reading also.
Lots of turtles around here.
That's-
Indiana bat.
All right, I think that was it for whole business. Yeah, I saw that. I think the application fee, we got that figured out for them for the subdivision.
Yeah, I got that from Vivian. I don't know what those two columns are. I mean, I think, maybe charge them a lower amount, but then that has to be clarified. That should go to you guys probably should recommend the fees to the village board, because the village board would have to approve those, so.
So I don't mind doing that, because I would love to know what the two different
So you
columns
can
are.
come up with a recommendation. I don't, you know, they may not be needed, I don't know where that came from, so.
Yeah.
Probably not a bad idea to look at.
Yeah, because there's more than, there's more than one
I think we have
piece
the
where there's two
information
separate
from,
columns.
I think the county gave us all that information on, you know, other, they didn't give us much on the escrow, but they did give us a lot of information on the, those kind of fees, you know.
Yeah.
But I would suggest, since it's ambiguous, that you take the lower amount, I think it was 300.
Yeah,
and
so
charge
in
that.
some of these application fees, there's two columns like this, right? So, and this happens also here where it's highlighted, there's these two columns of fees, and there's no delineation of.
There's no header anywhere.
No.
My guess is that since it's a revised fee schedule, the right column is the revision, because it
Revised
goes
one?
up, right?
Yeah.
So, but, yeah, you would need to clarify that.
You're probably right, Karen, yeah, that's, but, you know, it is ambiguous, so you don't want, not a ton of money, it's, you know. So.
Yeah, but you want to put the right column out, so.
Yeah, you want to pass it around.
Thank you.
Did they have any other questions?
No, just basically just what was in the email about the urban regs
Okay.
not being legible.
What's this thing?
So we were gonna, we've been working on that, you know, making that more legible, so we'll make that the first one on
All
the
right.
page.
All right.
We'll get it out to them. When is there, when are they on the agenda for,
They haven't asked to be put back on the agenda yet.
oh, okay.
They have to resubmit.
So, okay, but I'll try to get it.
So, because they gotta figure out the type 3, I saw that in the notes here.
Mhm.
They're still waiting for the SHPO, SHPO and DEC.
Yeah, I mean, we had advised that they, you know, not be quick to resubmit, because every interaction, you know, is an escrow fee to them, so that they should wait until they had some certainty from SHPO and DEC, and I think we were waiting to see what variances would pan out from the urban regs and other.
I'd like to pass a motion to send for clarification with the Board of Trustees on the fee schedule, what the two columns are.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Is there a previous version of that? You could look and see if the one column matches.
I don't know, when was that adopted?
That's
May-
a
It says it on there.
It says it on there.
It was revised.
2018?
2018, so it's probably kind of outdated anyway, you know, and you got, now you have all that information in the county, might be a good idea, just, I mean, it might, I would say if the planning board would make a recommendation to the village board, so it.
So update it.
Kind of within your, yeah, just
Mhm.
update it, take one of those, yeah, I mean, we can talk about those, look those over and get, you know, coordinate that.
All right.
It's gonna be important because with all these new projects that are proposed and everything, let's, get the sheets right. You don't wanna go to the guy, so only $1,000 to come back later on, and say, oh no, you owe me $3,000, I'll audit that.
Right, well, at least for this application, like, just clarify what we have in the books right now.
And then it will be the president for the next one.
All right. I think that's all we have right now. We're good, unless anybody has anything else they'd like to discuss, talk about? Anybody in the audience?
I make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
In favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.